Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today and happy 6th of September. I cannot believe that the year is almost over and that we're already into September. Wow, that's all I can say about 2020. Anyways, today I am bringing you a layout that I'm making for my travel album, which you're going to see a lot of this month. And these are just 3 photos of wildlife that we saw when we were on the 1880s train. There's 2 deer and some flowers that I had seen, and I just wanted to show a little bit of a representation of the different wildlife that we saw as we were riding on the train. I'll probably do one more 12 by 12 that's like nature pictures, and then the rest of traveling on the train itself will be put into pocket pages. So I'm working with papers that I had pulled out from previous For the Love of Homemade kits that had been left over and have been sitting on my desk, and I'm just trying to work through those and scraps. So that is what I'm using for my background paper. I believe the papers are probably from Jen Hatfield, and I know that the gold dotted one is Jen Hatfield as well, which is also. Now I'm going through, I have a bunch of 6 by 6 paper pads that I've picked out, and I'm going to end up just going with these ones that I pulled out from the We Are Memory Keeper Happy Camper. I wanted to stick with the nature colors and the kind of the greens and the browns that you saw in the pictures. And so I just kind of went through, I grabbed the wood grain and then the green one. Now, what I'm going to do today with mine is show you how you can use a 6 by 6 piece of paper, whether it be a scrap or actually from a paper pad, and by strategically cutting them, you can make them look like a bigger piece of paper to use on your layout. And I'm just going to do a simple L design where I'm going to run these papers up the left hand side, and then my strip of photos becomes the bottom part of the L. So all I did was took one 6 by 6, the wood grain, and I cut it in half horizontally. And then I take the green one and I cut it in half vertically. And that's how I'm going to lay these on top. Now my paper that I was using below obviously wasn't, it was a little bit off, so I will trim a little bit off the side once I get everything glued down. And I'm just going to use my T-square ruler to try and help me keep these all a little bit lined up. But the photo strip cuts those papers in half, so what was a 6 by 6 piece of paper now looks much bigger. And that's again a tip for how you can use your scraps and those 6 by 6 paper pads to make them appear as if they're a bigger piece of paper when in reality they're not. Use things on your layout, whether it be embellishments or photos, to help cover those lines of where you're splicing things together. So then what I'm going to do is, now that I have this all laid down, again, I'm going to trim off that little extra bit that is just over the edge so that all my layers look kind of clean. And then I have a bunch of embellishments, die cuts that I have, and fussy cut pieces that I have here on the side. So the first thing I grab is this big floral piece. It's probably one of my favorite florals. That is from the We Are Memory Keepers Wildflower. And I was looking through to see, I thought I had one more fussy cut piece that I could use at the bottom, and I didn't of this floral. So I'm going to grab another piece out of my paper pad that sits right next to me. I have one more sheet of that left, and I did fussy cut out a couple more flowers from that. And now I'm just going through and auditioning all of the different little bits and pieces to see what works. So here I am, I'm grabbing that piece of paper and I'm just going to cut out a couple small ones. I don't need anything very big to go on here. I just want a little bit to tuck underneath with the title. Now the title you see is I'm going to use the word New View, and to me it was appropriate since it was a different view of the nature in South Dakota by riding in the train. So I kind of like how that looked. And this is going to be very simple with embellishments. I'm letting the fussy cut flowers be the main item. I have this butterfly that is from Jen Hatfield as well. I'm going to use that. And then I will grab a viewfinder and split that in half, and a bow and an arrow and another little embellishment. Really not using a lot to decorate, but when you look at it, it looks like there's a lot. And with these fussy cut flowers, I do leave just a tad bit of a white border going all the way around, so that way when you're looking at it, and like I'm not going to cut in between each leaf of the fern, and so it looks like it's a die cut, and I like how that looks. And so in a minute, I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing everything down. I tried to put it up here on the top. I wanted it really to go in the corner underneath the butterfly, but it just didn't fit right. So I set it to the side, and I am going to pull it back in a minute and use it again. So this big one, I'm just going to go ahead and glue down. I like where it's at in the up in the top. I'm going to glue down the butterfly because I like where that's at, and then I'm going to have that banner that says beautiful, and I'm just running it across the bottom edge of that piece of gold paper. I'm tucking in this one piece of the fussy cut florals at the bottom, and then I'm going to have the title going over the top. And again, now I'm just going through and looking and seeing if there's anything I want. I was kind of looking at the arrows, and then I decide I really like this quote from Dr. Seuss. It says, "It's opener out there in the wide open air." And so, because again, these are nature photos, I thought that was a good saying to put on here. And I decided to go ahead and tuck this in with the upper florals. Here's where I take the viewfinder and I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to tuck part of it down below, and it's going to run into the florals down at the bottom. And I'm going to struggle for a minute pulling up all the different layers, but again, the nice thing with ATG is it does pull up and you are able to get things underneath it. And then I'm going to grab the other half and put it here underneath the Dr. Seuss quote, and I kind of put it on an angle so you can see it a little bit better, and it frames that quote. Then I grabbed that other, I kind of saw the bird thing, thought that might work, but it's too big. And now I'm going to grab that other floral in a minute, and I'm going to layer that under the other side of that title, so that then that banner that says "This is the life" will set on top of that. And here's where I'm kind of tucking that under, and I'm just going to straighten out that title that says New View and kind of run it across. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue down "This is the life." And then after I go through all my little bits and bobs and don't really find anything else I want to put in there, I go into my IKEA box again, and I had some wood veneers and clips and things, and I do find an arrow, and I'm going to stick that arrow up above with the viewfinder. And then I also found these bows, and I forget which collection that they're from. I believe that might be Crate Paper. But anyways, I'm going to put one in each corner. I found this fussy cut flower in the yellow, even though it doesn't match the ones that are from the We Are Memory Keeper wildflower collection. I like the coloring of it, and it's, since it's small, it doesn't stand out in your face as being a different flower. And that's going to be it for my layout. I'm going to give you a couple close-ups here at the end, and I want to thank you for joining me today. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would be a subscriber. Give me a like if you liked what you saw, so others know and YouTube know that you liked my video. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.